Bitcoin and altcoins, max buy signal flashing. Are you paying attention? We're going to be diving into this with some critical charts that you need to be paying attention to so that you can make sure to ride the most profitable part of this wave. Make sure you're hitting that like button, hitting that subscribe button, dinging the bell, making sure that you're getting active in the live chat. We're going to be breaking down Bitcoin, altcoins, Ethereum, XRP, and some of the coins. If you're tuned in right now, especially early, drop some coins in the live chat, whether you're watching on YouTube or on X. Drop some coins in the live chat because you're here early. I'm going to prioritize what you guys are dropping in. Let's get into this. We got some critical things that we need to pay attention to. There are some warning signs, but we need to make sure that we can decipher them credibly. And let's look at what we can do to make sure that we can capture max gains. Is this the max buy signal? Is this about to be absolute pumpage season? Let's get into it. Let's go. We're seeing the signals that we want to see. We're seeing the setup for absolute carnage in this market for the bears. The question is, are we going to get another washout before we have this market have that absolute pumpage to the upside? We've got to dive into this. Shout out to each and every single one of you. Again, if you are here early, I see you've already got about 100 people. We're going to get several hundred more, up into the thousands, I'm sure of it. You are here early. Let me know what coins you want to see some TA on. I see you're here early, so I want to give you guys priority. I want to incentivize you guys to show up and be here on time. Also, make sure that you have your notifications on because we have some more members content coming out. And for those of you that have notifications on, even if you're not a member, not all of it, but some of it, I post to the public for about 5 or 8 minutes. And if your notifications are on, you will see it. What I'm talking about there is when you look at the YouTube channel right here, make sure it says subscribed. And then once it says that, hit this little arrow and hit all, turn on. This is what we mean when we say ding the bell, turn on your notifications and make sure you're hitting that like button. Once you are subscribed, you do have the option. It should say join. You can join and be a member here. It's about $1.25 a week. And you get, you get these little, the beakers next to your name that fill up. Look at these blue beakers, meaning that they've been members for a long time. And I appreciate and love each and every one of you as people fill in. How you doing? What's up? Let's look at the data that we got to look at. This is that signal. I have it actually as one of my first charts over here. And what do we see here? Bitcoin bull, I called this the Bitcoin bull divergence. I posted 6 days ago. This chart, before we had this move to the upside, I was outlining the rise in strength as the price was falling. We're looking at the lows here on the price, and we're looking at the higher lows here, meaning this is not going as deep. The strength is underlyingly getting stronger while price was actually falling, suggesting that this was a bit of an overreaction, suggesting that there's a likelihood, a setup for a bounce here, and we got just that. The question's going to be from this point forward, can we maintain this price action as we're seeing right here? If we zoom in, we've had a candle close right on the edge here. We have this candle pushing up. It's having a little bit of stress right here, but we're watching for the price action on Bitcoin to come and test this region. We want to see the price action push through this. We do want to see the price action reverse here because what we would really like to see is for a defined higher low. The bulls defending this area above this high interest zone, which is, what is this interest zone? If we zoom this over, what do we see? We see the price action. This is all of these lows, almost the bottom side of this low range. Low, sitting on top of this, rejecting within, rejecting at the bottom. This is how we have defined this liquidity interest zone. In fact, it's not just that. We also see a large amount of liquidity up here from about $88,000 all the way up to about $90,000. But when we look at the charts, it's not just the liquidation heat map. We're also looking at where all of these previous range lows were. So we want to see the price action, yes, have a little bit of trouble, but work its way through this and have it any reversal where even if this pushes all the way up to 109 or beyond, when we do get a small reversal and the bears testing a little bit of price action to the downside, where do the bulls come in? We're starting to get that set up to signify that we may be having this trend reversal. But as it stands right now, especially looking down on like the 1 hour chart, Look at this. We are still struggling to really break through this area with authority. What we want to see right now is if the price does pull back to this zone, we don't want to see this lose this yellow line again. Now, what is the yellow line? The yellow line is a trend line that's been established back from October 2023. We have it resubstantiated here, August 24, again, September 2024, and then again right here, March 2025. And as we had the deviation below, excuse me, had the deviation below, we are starting to see that reversal, but this does not mean it's all systems go. It means we got the setup here that we need to pay attention to. So how's everybody doing? How you feeling? Let's me go through some of these live chats real quick. I did ask you all for your altcoins for those of you that were here early. How you doing, Mao.net? Good to see you on here as well. We got One House Productions, Granny's Garden, Bill Ramsey, Too New to Care. No, you're not too new to care. Yo, big man. What's up on the block? How you doing? Let's see. We got Algo. Let's actually, I'm going to bookmark some of these for those of you that are here early and participating in the live chat, whether you're watching on X or on YouTube. I can see all of your comments here when you live chat there. We got, let me see. I just want to make sure I got some of your coins onto. Okay, I got a bunch of coins there we're going to be looking at. Awesome. Well, shout out to each and every one of you. Let's zoom out. We got some things to go through today. We're going to be looking again at Bitcoin a bit later, but I wanted to give you the overview. We're also going to be diving in and looking at some of the altcoins that you all are requesting. We're having a very good day here in the office. We're having a pizza party later. So just buzzing here with some of the things going on. Coffee's up, ready to pump, says Boogaloo Bum. We got Wispy, Cardano, Arrow, J Dow, Yo, Ugan Sky, Philly Skills. Get these balls too, says Say. That's a funny comment, so we'll go ahead and put a star on that. All right, well, let's get into it because we got a lot of stuff to cover today. We got the crypto market cap. Total crypto market cap is sitting still right about that 2.68 trillion. Let's see if that's changed. Yeah, right about 2.68 trillion. The dominance. This is something that we have to pay attention to, especially when considering what's going on with the altcoin market. Up at 63%. In fact, if we come over here and look at the dominance, where is BTC.D? Look at this, just pushing almost to new highs. We have to still pay attention to this large wick that pushed up here, up into the almost over 64%, 64.4%. But the candle bodies, this is on the daily chart. This is pushing right up in there. If we look at this on the 4 hour, let's look. Yeah, I mean, this even on the 4 hour was just a wick. But this is putting a little bit of pressure on the altcoins right now. There's still uncertainty at play we have to pay attention to. So let's pay attention to that. But this also means that we may be, in some ways, leading before the max push it comes. The problem with it is with the altcoin market and the risk markets, there's a lot of frustration and tension on global markets right now, not just crypto, about actually adding to risk portfolios. So on the one hand, you might be catching something right now near the start of a major boom. On the other hand, if you're going to do that, note that there is still plenty of time and room for markets to absolutely shake your ass out if you're not either trading smart, if you're trading on a shorter term with tight stop losses, or if you have a more position-based where you're buying for several months or into the rest of this market cycle. You have to be willing to either have tight stop losses and be okay with getting stopped out, or allow yourself to, if you're going to buy, if it drops, that you're going to either hold and not do anything or add to your position and lower your average entry. It's going to be up to you based on what you want to do. But let's talk about it. Let's dive in here. What do we got? Well, first off, we had some trouble this morning. Binance and KuCoin went down due to AWS data center outage. This is basically Amazon Web Services. They have massive, basically cloud computing and basically web services for large, and it's not just Binance, KuCoin, it's a massive amount of online content is stored and processed and hosted through AWS. So this is something, your suspends withdrawals to keep users' funds safe, but this does add a little bit to the de-risking narrative, at least in the near term, especially after the mantra, the OM collapse that we saw the other day. People are kind of on heightened tensions right now because of the stress we felt in the altcoins with 2 full market cycles. What am I talking about? The 2 full market cycles on altcoins. Well, let's go over to total 3 minus Bitcoin. minus Ethereum and minus USDT and USDC. This is what I'm talking about. Let's go to the daily. Let's look at this. I mean, from October 23, look at this massive gain in altcoins. Boom. And then a massive sell-off. Boom. Basically a mini bear market. And then another massive boom all the way up. This started basically back here in October 2024. Massive boom here. Bam. And then what we get, we got another major sell-off that took things down, 53%. But this is an index. This is why when you look at things like, especially like the agentic stuff, AI, XBT, and I'm not hating on AI, XBT, but this, look at this massive, massive sell-off. I mean, from back here in January of this year, look at that sell-off all the way down to, 93% sell-off. Let's see if there's another AI, XBT. I want to see an older, here we go. Massive sell-off. And we've seen this, the smaller market caps across the board, especially newer coins, even if they had a decently large market cap like this got to, we saw a lot of blood being spilled in the market. We even saw it with things like AVAX, where we had this massive boom. Look, October all the way up. Look at this gain all the way up here, 675%. That's basically a 6.7x. And then it sold off all the way back down, 73%. That's almost like a full market cycle. That is massive loss. And then you see the same gain all the way back up here, another 234% gain back into another. Bam, look at that, 73% loss, 273% losses in the matter of, from this full cycle right here to where we're at right now, 543 days, we've had 2 full cycles on Avalanche. And Avalanche is a powerhouse. Avalanche is one I cannot wait to get stacked back into, especially considering that we have this pretty large sell-off into a broadening wedge with a bottoming formation. Look at Aerodrome. Massive, look at this boom. Are you kidding me? Look at this boom. 27x, 28x into a drop down here, 81% loss. And then right here where it starts again, we got the move go up. That is another 4x. And then we got a massive sell-off all the way down here. Look at that, 87% to the downside. This has been a very interesting cycle for the crypto market. Very interesting. Why is this? What is the key takeaway for what's going on in this cycle and why it's so different? Because Bitcoin and altcoins, the crypto ecosystem, just made it onto the world stage. And in that, we also have very clear idea of what's going on with Bitcoin and also where the mass amount of liquidity has been focused leading up to that executive order a few weeks ago about the crypto stockpile. So there's institutional and big money also counting on what's happening on an institutional level, in addition to sovereign wealth funds, pension funds, the Bitcoin ETFs, the strategic Bitcoin reserves on state levels here in the US, as well as the national strategic Bitcoin reserve, in addition to this very likely being a domino effect the world over about how much do we stack Bitcoin, what is our strategy, and how quickly can we get involved. We are about to see a race towards stacking Bitcoin. And so it's taken a little bit of pressure and liquidity focused off other things within the altcoin market. Does this mean altcoins aren't going to come back? No, I think altcoins are going to do incredibly well, but it's going to be particular altcoins. And that's why you need to make sure you're tuned in here on a daily basis so we can keep you on the right side of the trend. So getting back over to what we're looking at, let's get through some of this data, and then we're going to be diving into some altcoin, TA, and Bitcoin to wrap it out at the end, just so we can leave with a good idea of what's going on. But we're seeing stuff across the board. We're seeing setups for potential reversals. We're seeing, amazing opportunities for those of us that were bullish on some of these coins up here. How the hell could we not have been excited to stack? And look at this. It came right down into the zone that we marked out. We've been keeping you on the right side of the trend. We see, look at this. Sol in process of trying to get a reversal. Link, came down right to the level that we identified this has been here for quite some time. And this is a dream that we're able to get Chainlink in the $10.55 region. Guys, I think we have so much bullishness to come. So let's stay tuned and let's get into this. Okay, we got that news. Let's get through that. We've got the setup here. Watching the previous range lows. That's these lows here that this green box is attributed to. Can we get through it? And can we get through this liquidation zones that we've seen on the liquidation heat map, which is just above us? Can we get through it and have bulls defend it when this does come back? If Bitcoin, if I just outlined that. But this is also where we're at when we're looking at this sort of wheel. This is the Bitcoin price from Genesis and how you can see the, $0.00, $0.1, $1, $10, $100, $1,000, $10,000, $100,000 up to $1 million. We're seeing this as this pushes out. That means the price is going up, but it also shows you where we're at in the 4-year sort of cycle narrative about what we should be doing. So this suggests that we should be time to get fully invested. So is this the max buy signal? Where we're at on the time horizon of the 4-year cycle, where we're at in relationship to the Bitcoin halving, where we're at in relationship to confidence coming into the market following a presidential election. In addition to all that, we see this. We're seeing the money printers. Look at this. The global liquidity right here is breaking out of this 100-day exponential moving average. And this same thing happened in May 2015, March 2020, and now April 2025. Look at these dotted lines. What did this suggest? The preceding signal before we saw max gains of the cycle. What do we see here? The preceding signal where this, yes, it took a little bit more work. It's not going to be the day of. This is looking at fundamental context shifts that are suggesting what is to come or can be likely forecasted to happen in markets. So we're getting these flipping, preceding the exponential run, flipping, preceding the exponential run. Well, here we go. Flipping. Is this preceding the exponential run that's about to happen? Let me know what you think in the comments right now, whether it's in the live chat here live or comment down below. Do you think we are about to get the next stage being an exponential run to the upside? I know I do. I've been stacking like it. And even if we have to wait a little longer, even if we have to wait through the summer with just choppy, frustrating price action, which we saw in 2024, we saw 7 months of sideways price action until we got 100% move to the upside. So we need to make sure that we are focused right now because shit, it's about to get exciting. And then we see it's not just money printing. What else do we see? We're seeing relationship to gold flow, aka how much the gold buying pressure and what we're seeing in the rise in the price of gold. Bitcoin follows gold with a 100 to 150 day lag, very similar to money printing coming in. The signal of people, this sort of flight to safety for a bit into gold, and then that sort of rotation back into the risk assets. When the printer roars to life, gold sniffs it out first, then Bitcoin follows harder. This is what we're watching right here. The white line is gold just going exponential and leading what we're seeing here on potentially on Bitcoin likely coming next. So we can see this. That I also want to make sure that's bookmarked for me so I can save that for later. Then we also see this. Bitcoin lags by 13 weeks. It's another way to look at it. This is basically tracking the rate of change, right? If this chart is anything to go by, Bitcoin is going to rocket over the next few months. See the Bitcoin is in the orange line. Gold is in the black line. This is just pulled up. And what have we seen? This is tracked pretty damn close directionally in terms of growth or decline. And so this is signaling, along with the global money supply, that we may be seeing something. So let's get into it. What else do we see? Bitcoin's apparent demand. It's not just about money flow. It's not just about gold. We also want to see how investors and the actions of people within this market are doing. And with Bitcoin specifically, more so than stocks, you can see it basically real time based on on-chain data. What type of players, how big the players are, how many, for instance, if you want to just look at people that hold 1,000 Bitcoin, what actions are they doing? You want to see people that have only, even if they have 1,000, only wallets that have held over 6 months or over 155 days, or only Bitcoin that's been traded within the last, 2 or 3 weeks. You could track all that specifically and also aggregate it all. That's why on-chain data is so spectacular. And it's surprising to me that a lot of people don't pay attention to it. But when we're looking here, Bitcoin's apparent demand, the 30-day sum, is bouncing from deeply negative territory, suggesting a potential shift in market behavior. According to CryptoQuant data, we're seeing this sort of shifting wind. You see this right here coming right back up. This is the 30-day moving average right here, this line. This is ticking back towards this zero line. We're watching really the preceding scenario before this flips into demand really coming in. So let's understand what that could mean. We have money flow up. We have gold rocketing to new highs. We have money printing on the horizon, and maybe it's already happening globally. So do I want to catch the trend after it's already happened, or do I want to take a shot and catch it at the earliest stage? That's going to have to be up to you. I know what I'm doing, and I've been very vocal about it, because then we see right here, since April 11th, aggressive buyers have dominated Binance futures. Let's repeat that. Aggressive buyers have dominated Binance futures. Taker sellers have struggled to gain the upper hand, a clear sign of aggressive positioning by bulls. This chart shows a clear sign of aggressive positioning by bulls. Now, does this mean it's absolutely going to play out and that we're only going to pump from here? No, there tends to be the washing out of too much hope or too much fear in both directions, but we're seeing the shifting winds into a bull-dominated environment, and that's what I'm paying attention to. And then we see this from Jason Appleton, Crypto Crow, who we had on this channel a few weeks back. Make sure you're following him. This is just a pause portion of a live stream that he had, but I wanted to highlight it because this is a Wyckoff. Basically, it could be accumulation or distribution. In this case, it does look like, especially with the bullish tailwinds that we have in terms of what we're looking forward for, this may be coming into that reaccumulation phase right here, where this is breaking down, and now you get basically an increase in momentum to the downside, a little less momentum to the downside, so much less momentum to the downside that now you have a double bottom. This is starting to look like reaccumulation, which could suggest that, a move coming very shortly up to retest his previous all-time high at 109,000, and then that next move up into the 120s to 140s and beyond. The point is, who cares what the exact target is going to be out of this? There's no way to know. We can forecast it by Fibonacci extensions and, spider lines projecting, forward projected trends and so on and so forth. What's most interesting here is that this is starting to look like a shift on the near term, this 4-hour chart to the downside. This is starting to look like that rounding bottom into a reaccumulation, suggesting we may be in store for at least an attempt. Doesn't mean it's guaranteed, but at least an attempt on making this move back up to test that $90,000 region. The next step beyond that is looking at that $105,000 to $109,000 region. And if we're able to take that out, I think there's going to be such appetite that's going to shock people, because this is starting to get very thoroughly entrenched into the minds of smart money, big money, institutions, and more. And I got some data for you to show that here in just a moment. Remember, we're getting into the altcoin TA here in just a couple minutes. I do want to just highlight again, how much I appreciate y'all. We're all here on a daily basis. And I see all y'all's names. When you comment every day, I see you in the live chat. I appreciate you. In fact, I'd love to see what two coins are you most bullish on outside of Bitcoin and Ethereum? What two altcoins are you most bullish on? And not just, I hope, like which two coins are you actually most bullish on? Drop it in the live chat there, whether you're watching YouTube or X. Big love to you. We got to about 1,000 people tuned in. I appreciate each and every one of you. Hit that like button, show some love, hit the subscribe button, join us in here, ding the bell. And again, if you want to know what dinging the bell means when we say that, that means making sure you are subscribed right here in this little arrow. Boom. Click that all right there. Turn on your notifications. You get some special things when that happens. And sometimes some of the private content I post to the public for about 5 or 8 minutes. And if you have your notifications on, you will see that. I see you. You got Eddie Average. Eddie's Average says Link and AVAX. Eric Taylor says Cardano. I can actually show it right here. Where's my mouse? Lost my mouse there. Lost my mouse. There it is. We got Moonwell, Jasmine, HBAR, and XRP. Good to see you, Wispy. Good to see you. We got, a Link, Ondo, Solana, Ondo. We're getting a lot of Ondos in here. Ondo up here as well. Moonwell all day just bumped staking APY to 21%, says Biz Knowledge. A lot of Ondos. Yeah, I'm very bullish on Ondo, Link. I think Solana is going to do great. I'd actually like to have some Solana, but I've been very focused with how I'm navigating my portfolio. this year, because I'm also sharing that altcoin portfolio with y'all and what I've been doing there, especially for the members. Yeah, we're getting a lot of it. Arrow, I'm very bullish on Arrow. But let's get back into it because we got a lot of things we want to cover. We're getting the flippening right here of that start of the move that has signaled that parabolic increase in price action. If Bitcoin goes parabolic, that starts bringing risk confidence to the rest of the market. So continuing beyond this, what we got the potential Wyckoff here, and then what do we have beyond that? This is that data that I was talking about. The shift in the global understanding, especially in the U.S., about what's going on with institutions and their appetite for Bitcoin and their own treasuries. Corporations purchased 95,000 Bitcoin in Q1 of 2025, bringing total corporate Bitcoin holdings to 688,000. That's 3.28% of the total 21 million supply. What does this look like? And this is from Cointelegraph. What does this look like? Well, zoomed in on that chart, corporations bought over 95,000. You can see this, the difference here in this chart from Q1 of 2020, Q1 of 2021, Q1 of 20. Look at this. This is a monumental shift. This is very important. This is a monumental shift in the appetite, understanding, and plans for Bitcoin and Bitcoin treasuries in institutions and corporations, governments, states, nations, and individuals, ultra high net worth individuals, millionaires. Do you realize and remember, there is only ever going to be 21 million Bitcoin. There's over 50 million millionaires globally. The race is on right now to get even at least one Bitcoin. It's already getting to a point where it's pricing a lot of people out. So do everything in your power, whether it's $10, whether it's $100, whether it's 10,000, it's up to you and your risk matrix and what you can tolerate. But my argument is, how can you not tolerate doing anything possible to get as advantageously stacked into Bitcoin when we're seeing the absolute devaluing of our dollar and we're about to have more major money printing in the very near future? We have proof of that here in just a moment because it's already started. So institutions are stacking. What does this look like? Look at this. It's not just MicroStrategy. It's not just MetaPlanet. It's not just Similar Scientific. It's not just GameStop. Jane Street, Millennium Management Group, Goldman Sachs, Susquehanna, Brevin Howard. I mean, just look at this. Citadel. I mean, the list is growing, and it's not small amounts. Look at this, 29, almost 30,000 Bitcoin, 28,000 Bitcoin, 25,000 Bitcoin. The race is on. What are you doing if you're not doing everything in your power to stack as much Bitcoin for you, for your wife, for your husband, for your children, for your future, even if it's for none of that, just so you don't have every hour you've worked and slaved to earn money and just to have it devalued and be printed to zero. This is what we're talking about. Now we have the ETF demand has been selling off in this bullshit fear narrative. And look at this. It's right here on the cusp of about to get that next wave very soon to the upside. We've shaken out the weak hands and we're seeing some confusion on the global stage, though, still. And Bitcoin is outside of this. It's not part of this whole tariff conversation and the fears, but this is showing capital is rushing to the sidelines. In March, hedge funds conducted their most aggressive selling of world stocks since 2013, according to Goldman Sachs. Not even the 2020 pandemic saw such a sharp exposure reduction in global equities. This is as a result of what's going on with the trade war. But remember, Bitcoin's outside of that. It's still somewhat pressured by the risk narrative in all this. But people are starting to wake up and realize, oh, this is actually where I want to put my money, gold and Bitcoin. But what does it mean for our altcoins and everything like that? Let's get into that, which we're going to here in just a moment. But we're seeing the weekly RSIs now oversold territory. This is the S&P 500. So we're seeing the broader markets getting into positions. This is a pandemic sell-off here. We're getting the similar conditions right here that could be setting up for a bottoming here to start, whether it can, this did take some time, you see, but if this does happen, great. And this is on the horizon of that money printing that I was just talking about. And that is this right here, breaking China, money printer goes brrrr up. Multi-trillion yuan stimulus hits the system. Rates down, credit up, bailouts back. Ride the dragon or get torched, fam. That's what we're talking about right now because we are seeing the setup of the lifetime. We are seeing the setup of a century. We are seeing a setup that you and everybody on earth has access to in a way that has never existed. All you have to do is figure out what your strategy is going to be and hold yourself accountable to it. I'm stacking like my future depends on it because it does. And once you realize that and you start understanding and diving into some of the data around Bitcoin, it makes it so much easier. It becomes a no-brainer. But let's look at what's going on because we got the dollar index breaking down. But this is not the end of the world. We still could have the dollar index push up, which would probably put a little pressure on the risk assets. But that still is set up for a move to the downside. But we're keeping an eye on this. But let's get into it. Let's look at Bitcoin. Let's look at some of these altcoins. Let's see what is going on. Shout out to everybody that is here. Now let's get over to Bitcoin dominance. Altcoins feeling the pressure, but this is starting to feel weak. This attempt to the upside, we have to keep an eye on it. This is dominance. But when we get over to let's get straight to the altcoins. Ethereum, still on the channel to the downside. Just two. We look at this on the ETH BTC chart. It is starting to hold at this level, this random orange bar that I drew. Is it random or is this a very clear clear zone that we've had marked out? I mean, look at this all the way back here. I don't know what that is. You can't see it there. All the way back here, May 2016. If you price Ethereum in Bitcoin, this is now the same price it was, the same value against Bitcoin as it was in May and June of 2016. Now, this is either going to be an absolutely epic buying opportunity for ETH, and ETH, this has just been an absolute shakeout of everybody that the weakest hands, and this is going to be a monumental rocket ship of an opportunity that is going to just result in just life-changing. You're buying this at a value that was back here in the 2016 timeframe. But there's also the caveat there with all these other L1s, all these other competitors that are out there doing smart contracts that this could end up melting to the downside. What do you think? I'm curious where you think ETH is going from here because in my opinion, I think ETH has still got a lot of room to grow. The question is going to be, is it going to be as ferocious as we wanted now that this is such a, I don't want to say fracture, but there's so many different opportunities out there. And let's talk about some of those opportunities. I do think ETH is going to have a pretty strong bounce. Let's see how it goes. But then because we also have the Pectra upgrade coming here in a matter of weeks, I believe. Avalanche. Okay, we're on the weekly, but this is looking, ugly as hell on the weekly, right? But let's get down to the 8 hour, 6 hour. This is coming right into broadening wedge, descending broadening wedge. We don't really have any signal here on the RSI on the 8 hour, but this is looking like it wants to try a little bit lower. Why? If we look at this just by itself with this pattern, large impulse, smaller impulse, M formation. This is looking like it wants to come down and test down to 1850. Yeah, this 1850 zone is what I'd be watching. And if it loses that, maybe a bit further down. But I'm very bullish on Avalanche going into this, the remainder of this cycle. If this is able to hold here, which it very well could, things can change on a dime. If this is able to hold here, then, because look, the RSI has been coming down quite dramatically. If this is able to hold in this region, then we're going to want to watch this, the breakout of this 2045 zone, probably a rejection here at 22. But this is the zone we're watching. The signal's not quite there yet because of the weakness coming into this. If this does break out, watch for the retest. Watch for the retest before you really get strong conviction on the continuation there. XRP. I saw you guys had a bunch of XRP requests. Those of you that were here early. Yes, those of you that were here early. I gave the opportunity to shout out some coins, and I'm doing y'all's coins. So get here early, guys. We're live right after Discover Crypto, 11:30 to about 12:15, Tuesday through Friday. On Mondays, I'm after Blockchain Basement at 12:30. And tomorrow we got to get the guest that was supposed to be on yesterday. It was my fault. I didn't send him the link. He's going to be on tomorrow, but XRP, it's still sitting above this zone. But look, this has happened before. This has happened before. This has happened before. We've had the fake outs to the upside. This does not mean because we're above here, this is just going up. We've got to be a little bit more measured here with what's going on. If we turn on 4MA, come on. So currently, yes, we're above this descending resistance line that is now support, and we're also above all three moving average, the 200, the 50, and the 21. It's kind of holding on here. RSI is also holding right at the 50 mark. So, I mean, I'd be a little patient here. I'd be actually a little bit hopeful for an opportunity back into this zone before moving. But a little bit cautious here. Curve. I saw some people say curve. This is trying to hold on. Let me delete this from the TA we did the other day. Currently, it looks a bit like a bull flag. We got the bull flag kind of right here. It's kind of ugly, but if that were the case, then we can measure this out like this. You measure the flagpole from this low to the top of this. This is a flagpole, like a bull flag, right? You measure this out. You can measure it this way or to the bottom. I like to be a little bit more conservative. This would suggest a target up here into the 76 cent range. If you do both targets from the top here as well, then this suggests 81 cents. So that gives you a box, basically 81 cents to 76 cents. Where is it at? Like this. Yeah. Gives you that sort of target box if that breaks out. If this does fail, then I'd be watching where? Where would I be watching for a target if this fails? Meaning it doesn't just break out to the upside. I'd be watching the immediate previous range high, which is right here. Meaning price act, God dang it. Meaning price action comes down here, boom, right to this previous range high. Watch for a bounce there if it's able to hold it, which ultimately would just be a fake out down before it goes up, which has been in line with how so many different patterns have played out recently. Let's get into Ondo. You guys asked for Ondo. So with Ondo, let's turn off the 4MA. Let's go to the 8-hour. This is just trading in this range. I mean, it's like coiling into the bulls to just slingshot up. Why do I say that? Because we're also seeing the roundingness of large impulse, smaller impulse, smaller impulse. The roundingness. This is called a rounding bottom. It indicates that the bearish momentum to the downside is starting to get weaker. If the bearish momentum is getting weaker, what does that mean for the bullish momentum? It's like a yin yang. If bears are getting weaker, that means bulls are getting stronger. It's not going to be a guarantee, but these are some of those leading signals that you can see. You also see this price action right here, lower lows. What do you see on the RSI? This is what I'm talking about. Lower lows right here. What do you see on the RSI? You see higher lows right here, showing the increase in strength. At the same time, you're getting a weakness in the bears. So you're starting to get the signals. This is sitting right here on the edge of this neckline. If this can break out, I'm watching. This is very important. All of this zone right here. And this would be essentially the 99 cent to $1.03 sort of range. If this does break out, again, I'd be watching this for a potential before this does make a move, but we're starting to feel like we're on the cusp. We're on the cusp of greatness right now, guys. It's like that song, we're on the edge, glory. I don't know what's going on right now. Hungry hippo over here. Arrow, similar to what we just saw on Ondo, just the trending to the downside, but in a channel. RSI also broke through this 50 mark. Through this 50 mark, which is right here. Option J, you see that? It's just below it, but it broke through this 50 mark. And if this can bounce here and start pushing up, this is giving me more confidence. But again, I'm watching right here. The 50 cent mark is very important. Why? Because you have this shelf of price action right here. This is what we're watching to, even as it pushes up. Don't be so mad if this gets rejected. We want to watch more carefully when this breaks through this zone, finds support, and continues to the upside. But we're starting to see signs of potential reversal. And it all goes back to the gold pushing to the upside, the money printing on the upside. Discussion about, what's going to happen with Fed rates and all these sorts of things in that regard. I think I saw a couple people ask for Cardano as well. So look at this. Broke out of this trend line, came back, retested it, fell, and ultimately, yes, it's a lower low, but this is also still holding above this trend line right here. This kind of looks like a Wyckoff as well. Kind of testing spring potentially here. But there's no clear signal on this yet for a move in the immediate future, especially on that 8-hour. This is just trading sideways, like a heartbeat. Boom. Now to the downside. I'd be waiting a little bit more on this one. Doge looks very similar to what we just saw in Cardano. See this with the difference here is the large impulse here, which is part of that the crypto stockpile comments from that listed Cardano, I believe, in that executive order. But Doge, without that massive one, just a little bit smaller move to the upside. But look, deviation up, deviation down, back to center. Nothing's changed here yet. So the signal isn't quite there yet. Jasmine had that big move. Now it does look like a bull flag. So what does this mean for Jasmine? Measure this out. We're measuring from this last little this point right here up into this bull flag. This would be the flag area. You measure this out. This would suggest another move of roughly, let me see. There we go. Another move of another 60% move. Now, is that going to be expected? That's a pretty lofty goal just to have another 60% move right after. But ultimately, that's the target out of that if it breaks to the upside. If this continues to work its way down, we're watching this previous range chop zone, this previous range high, and the 382 right here. This is where we want to bounce. This would be a very bullish bounce if it pulled back to here before going. If this loses this, we're watching back down here to 1.1 cents. What else? Telegram. Man, this is just, I mean, not giving much signal there. We do have lower lows. There's signal there. Look, lower lows. What do we see here? We're seeing RSI coiling up here, higher lows, bullish divergence on TON. Is TON setting up for another move to the upside? We not only have a bullish divergence, we also, in doing that, also have a basically falling wedge, suggesting that we could get that move to the upside. So let's do a Fibonacci from the top to the bottom right here. Ultimately, and look at this 382 fib goes right in line with where this area bounced over here. So we'd be watching this zone on there. But guys, I'm so bullish on this market. We got to be careful. We got to be patient. We have to let this market do what it's going to do. But we're starting to see signs. And I think there's more frustration. Mark my words right now. There's more frustration in store. There are signs of bullish reversals in this market, but a lot of times when you get those signals, you get people getting a little bit too hyper excited and you end up having a final washout or a final wick that really capitulates some people. So I am very bullish, but I'm cautious here. I'm not doing anything with what I have. I'm just finding positions to add, but I love you guys. I appreciate you guys so much. We got some really great news we're going to be sharing here in the very near future. But with that being said, I love you guys. Hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, ding the bell. We did not get to 40 as we counted yesterday. We did not get to 40 retweets, but we'll do talking about yesterday's, where's my thing at? Talking about yesterday's live stream on X. And that is this right here. We did not get to, it's somewhere back here. It's only at like 30 or something. Yeah, this is yesterday's. I said, if we got to 40, we do a giveaway because we didn't even get to 30 during the live stream. On this one today, let's see where we're at. We can do a giveaway tomorrow. If we get this, you all can participate. You're here right now. You're watching. We're at 20. If we get this to 40 retweets, every one of you retweet this right here. I'll share it in the live chat. We got 568 people watching on X, literally 10% of you could do it. We'd already have 56. If you're watching on YouTube, head over to this link. I just put in the live thing. Hit that retweet. Hit this like button. We will draw tomorrow. If we get to 40 retweets of this, we'll do a $100 value giveaway. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. If you want to trade with us, we got some great deals going on right now. I just want to shout out $13,000 deals for signing up, different bonuses. It's right here. Trade with us on LBank, $13,000 in bonuses. That's the link right there. I will share this in a pinned comment right now on the live chat on YouTube. Where's my button so I can pin it? Go sign up there. We got some special things that are going to be happening in a private Discord deal that we're merging. BitLab, we're merging Discover Crypto, Blockchain Basement. So we're all going to get everything from Josh, from DZ, from Drew, from me, education stuff, trade signals. I mean, it's going to be great. Sign up there and take care of it. And for those of you that are wondering, all these exchanges that limit geo stuff, it's not illegal for you. It's a regulation that they're not allowed to offer, but you can go sign up. I always recommend using a VPN. I set my VPN to Brazil so nobody can jack with my stuff and, target my accounts and, limit me on geo stuff. All you have to do is right here, get NordVPN 4 months free. It's right there. There's a link right in the description here. You get 4 months free if you sign up there. And you can protect yourself. So big love to every single one of you. Remember, we're getting into a very exciting season. Make sure you protect yourself, protect your crypto, protect your future. Head over to getarculus.com. Use code BitLab, BITLAB 20, BitLab 20 for 20% off. Getarculus.com. It's the best crypto cold storage solution out there. It's not only a kick-ass cool card, they also have the patent. All those credit cards you have with the one tap chip that's never been hacked. It's the same group that has basically made this technology that created these Arculus. They are incredibly secure. It's my favorite crypto cold storage solution. So head over to getarculus.com. Get your Arculus right now. Protect your crypto, protect your future. BitLab 20 for 20% on. BitLab 20 for 20% off. We love you. We appreciate you. I appreciate you all for getting in here with us and all the comments, all the activity, getting involved, sharing this stuff, getting involved on my Twitter, on the Academy BitLab Twitter, and the Discover Crypto community. That's all we got, everybody. I love you. Adios, muchachos. Thank you for coming. Thank you for being my friend. Let's go.